Hello, welcome to another episode of Hope Without Sight with episode 5. On this episode, my co-host Tyler and myself are featuring a lady who lives in California. She is an immigrant from India after moving here during the 2008 economic downturn. She lost everything, and she and her family moved to the U.S. with nothing. And they started all over again, and now she is an entrepreneur in healthcare technology. Please welcome Angelina Sun. Hello, Angelina. Welcome to the show. How are you doing this morning?
Hi, Sailor. How are you? Yes, I am from China.
From China?
But I'm doing great. Yes, as Sailor mentioned, my family, we are immigrant family to the States. And I've been in United States for 10 years. And we live in San Francisco, California now.
San Francisco, California. Well, I know California, it's not in the best shape. I mean, the cost of living is very high. It's high taxes. San Francisco, it's not, the cleanest, but I mean, y'all are making it, which is good. Y'all are very successful, because we're here in Texas, and so tell me about yourself. You're an entrepreneur, right?
Yes. I am a freelance architect, and yes, I have a business in health, working with SIA redox signaling technology and a product. And I started my business around the pandemic, actually, so a little bit less than 3 years at this point.
Oh, right, during the pandemic, whenever everything shut down and so many people were unemployed. Wow.
Yes.
And what gave you the drive to start your business? Like, what's your background? Do you have any college degrees, any experience in medical professions? How did you start your business from the ground up?
Yes, it is a very different thing with what I was doing, architecture, and I majored in architecture. But people familiar with me also know my whole family. We've been always pretty health conscious, and we've been vegans for 13 years. That all started with, we started following a spiritual master. So we started the meditation, the vegan diet, and all those good stuff. And we started learning, more about food, how it related with our health. And of course, I started paying attention to it. And yes, my parents had great health, fortunately. And as Sailor mentioned in the beginning of the show, we came to the States. That was 10 years ago. And actually, the original plan was always, my parents were entrepreneurs in China. So we had a comfortable life. And the plans always, they wanted to send me to study abroad. And that was literally, I was preparing to go study. But what happened is, my parents' business really got hit during the 2008, the downturn. And they tried to sustain it for a couple of years, but didn't work. So unfortunately, they shut down the business, of course, bankrupted. And we want to stay together as a family because they had nothing to do right back then. And literally, we came to the States together as a family instead of the original plan. But now in a very, very different situation, which is we came here with literally almost just 3 suitcases. So the past 10 years, we've been rebuilding a new life here in a new country. So that's a little bit of the past. And that's also, give my parents a lot of stress because it's an even bigger change for them, given their age. And that's how first we found my dad started having depression.
Wow.
He lost his life work. And if you are familiar with, Asian culture, it's a very different culture here with the,
Sure, yeah.
people could say, hey, we're failing forward, you learn from your experiences, all of that stuff. But first of all, my dad is a very stubborn man. And
Yeah.
second, his identity was tied to his career, his business, and something you've been building for the almost entire of your life, adulthood. And it was destroyed, and he felt his identity was destroyed.
My
So
goodness.
that's, I hope, helps the audience understanding a little bit. Hey, oh my God, you lost a business and you're just depressed. But so yes, I of course felt a little angry towards that. It's like, come on, just don't think your way, keep thinking about it and don't move on. But I also understand where it came from. So that's about my dad. And after we found he's depressed, and he literally, I think, emotionally shut it down, of course. And that led to his dementia in a very early age. That was in his 50s.
Wow.
So yes, my dad situation was like that, but my mom became our main bread earner of the household, and I really respect her doing that. She started a small nail salon in a new country and
Yeah.
while still learning the language and all of stuff. And my mom opened a small nail salon with her friend, and we have a good population of Chinese speaking community. So that's how she's able to do that. And my mom obviously worked really, really hard. As Sailor mentioned, the living cost here in San Francisco, it's literally one of the most expensive cities in the world, top ones.
Yes.
And my mom paid because I started going to architecture school. So she paid my tuition, right? Supported me through school. And she paid off our San Francisco rent. So of course, my mom overworked, and several years in, it puts a lot of stress on her body. And then my mom started having some health issues coming up. My mom had shoulder pain, brain fog, low energy, and she's most stressed out is her aging signs, the wrinkles. And for me, I actually had a skin challenge at that time. I had full face acne breakouts.
Oh,
And I
no.
literally went to clinical treatment for my acne for about a year at that point. So these were all happening around a similar time. And I was searching literally out of desperation, primarily for my parents. And also, I do believe our body's amazing self-healing power. And we are paranoid, right, with what to put into the body as vegans, as you guys all know.
Yeah.
And I just sort of know what my parents had were not going to be resolved by pills. They're great at removing symptoms, maybe, but I do think there's something deeper that we should look at. So yes, as I mentioned, I do the meditation, all those good stuff, and most of the time I trust my intuitive feeling, my gut feelings. And I found ASEA, the redox signaling molecules technology, Huffington's Post and the Forbes magazine, because the patent is pretty cool. So it was featured on those big magazines. And I remember Huffington's Post said, these are 5 emerging technologies that will shape human beings' future. And I said, well, okay, let me look into it. And of course, I'm not a scientific person, even though, yes, now I would say I'm an expert in redox signaling science. But when I first look at it, redox signaling molecules does not really mean a thing to me. But felt right. And I just looked it up, the science a little bit, and I really love what I saw. I loved the idea, and what's in the products is not any new invention. It's not another exotic juice or another product, but what's in the products, those redox molecules, they already exist in every cell of our body. So they're the identical, we could say they're our own element, right? And And those signaling molecules, they are critical for cellular communication because they allow the signals to be sent through within our body. So your every cell is talking to each other. Your whole body is communicating. That's how a healthy body should be supposed to be running. And we ended up needing those molecules later on in life is because we started naturally losing those molecules around puberty, 1% every year. That's a real reason why human body are getting sick and we are aging. Because if we look at those disease or even aging, injuries or discomforts, all those things, if we look at them on the cellular level, they're pretty much all damaged cells, right?
Yes,
For
right.
example, if you have a heart disease, that's damaged heart cells. If I could say I had damaged skin cells need to be detoxed and repaired, vice versa, so on, so on. And that's why redox molecules, they could detect and find their natural function is this, detecting, finding the damaged cells in our body, either go repair them or tell them to kill themselves off if they're too badly damaged. And that's how our body actually rejuvenate and keeping us young and healthy. So when I saw that, I was just like, ooh, this is it, self-healing power. And you just need to give our body the right tool. So they really know the best. It's very intelligent, our body. It's a little universe. That's what I always believe in. So of course, the idea caught my attention and I was looking for my parents. So I check out their safety study and I learned there's less toxicity than the cup of water we drink in those products because they are just our own molecules, right? And then back to our own body. So I told my parents, I said, I don't know how this is going to help, but at least I know they can never hurt you. And I think that's very powerful because no drug can really say, hey, we can never hurt you, because all of them pretty much got side effect. But yeah, we took a leap of faith and got on the product, and my entire family, we actually just being users for at least 3 years before I made a business decision, because I graduated, became a freelance architect, and life got busy but better because we are regaining our health back. And it reversed my dad's cognitive function problem. And I'm also wanted to make a disclaimer here that I see a redox is not treating or curing any disease, and it's not the drug. So it has nothing to do with FDA approved or anything, because they can only approve drugs. So redox molecules, what they're doing is by enhancing your body's own power to keep you well. So yes, and there's no medical claim here.
So this is so what you're doing. The device you patent is all natural. It's drug free, right?
Yes, they are health products, essentially, Sailor. And there's a liquid version and there's a topical version. They are health products. And both are redox molecules, just two delivery systems. And the liquid one is a drink. So when people drink it, those molecules go into your body, started working inside out. And with the topical version, it's targeting your external things first. So when you applied it, of course, then it started working outside in. That's the two main products. But yes, and then when my parents, getting better, and my dad's cognitive function issue, literally, we don't see it anymore. We don't see he forgetting things or repeating the things he already said, which that is a huge thing for my family, because we were freaking out, right? We were going to school and building the business, trying to pay the rent, and we really didn't know who is going to take care of my dad, because for something like those, right, elderly, then you never know how fast it's going to progress. And so that's a big relief on our side. And my dad has this joint issue, the discomfort for decades. and most elderly got this issue, inflammation. And my dad's having that for decades since I remember things. But one after applying the redox gel, and it's pretty much gone. It's
Wow.
it's joint. And for my mom, I think I mentioned she had brain fog, low energy, and shoulder discomfort, and those are all gone. She's very healthy. My mom's looking younger just for the anti-aging benefit, and she's really happy about that. But I'm just saying, you know, my parents are close to their 60s, so things will pop on here or there. Like my dad just went to the dentist last month, and my mom is a workaholic, so she might have, oh my God, you know, I have a little discomfort here, but nothing chronic or huge like what I worried about. And for my skin, it cleared my face after 3 months. Then, you know, I saved the money, don't need to go to clinical treatment for it anymore. And it's big for me, of course. There are certainly more life-threatening things that I've heard in other testimonials and stories. And the company has been out there for 13 years, and ASEA is in 35 different countries, different markets. So of course, we all know before any patent or products getting into other countries, right? And they have to check you up and make sure, okay, you're legit and all of that. So the technology and the products are completely out of trial. We are Redox. And so I'm just making a point, if, for example, the audience curious about how it could help with other things, then I could certainly pretty much, I would say anything people could think of, I can find a related story. People had a past experience of how it helped, because we're pretty rich on stories and testimonials just for that aspect. But I also, I guess people now might have questions like, oh my God, you're saying this is a cure-all, you know, magical thing or whatever. And my answer is always, well, you know, it works with every cell in your body. So whatever you're asking or thinking about right now, I would normally ask, does it have cells involved? Then people would say, yeah. And I said, well, they're helping your cells. It is really our body's own coping mechanism. It's its own intelligence. We are redox program. So how it works is when you replenishing more those signaling molecules back, you're enhancing your cellular communication. So your body knows where it's needed the most and will send them to where it's needed the most. And yes, it will take care of your issues by priority, I guess, in that sense. And it won't say, go into your body, say, oh my God, you're an eye cell, we don't work with you, all sort of things. It won't discriminate, but our body will send it to where it's needed the most. And yeah, I guess I will just finish my story here, because my parents were getting healthier, and because the results we were receiving, I guess, and I started really got curious or just want to know what happened, because I'm passionate about health. Then I started tuning into those, because the majority of the people who are working with this company, this product, are health professionals, I guess, because of the science, because they all learned this in medical school. So it will make sense to pretty much all of them. And yes, so there are a lot of health professionals, holistic people, naturopathic doctor. I started tuning into their educational webinar to learn more about what happened. That's all I want to do. Then I was able to share what I shared with the audience and you, Sailor, before.
Wow.
And also I learned the analogy, what I made in the webinar is, if we look into our health as a big house, then redox molecules, they're the labors to build a house. They still need the building materials, right? That's the nutrition our cells need. Just for example, I take a vitamin, I take vitamin B12 because I don't get that from vegan diet, and I exercise pretty much regularly. And I take a protein product because we don't have a protein product. So yes, of course, your cells need nutrition to be empowered. That's just common.
Wow.
But I guess before ASEA, before redox molecules, the labors were missing. So a lot of people would say, oh, how come, I take supplements, I exercise, I eat well, I do the right things. How come I still, getting sick or they don't work as well? It's because without the labors, those building materials are not being properly absorbed and utilized. That was my bing aha moment because I was like, okay, then it's actually not something nice to have, but it's foundational. It's, to be honest, a must-have when you passing puberty or when you passing your early adulthood, I would say. It's cellular breaking down happening every single second. This is literally the foundation to allow your cells to communicate. And then only when your cells are signaling and communicate, then we could talk about something else. So that's also where I think a big moment for me to make the business decision, because I said, well, then I feel completely confident to tell people how this works and why you need it. So when the pandemic hit, and I said, okay, I wanted to work from home and I want to retire my mom faster. But most importantly is this is so aligned with what I believe in health. And I really want to share this gift with other families too, just like my family. I want them to have what we had, which is, gaining back their health and have a great quality of life. So yes, that's why what I do.
So yeah, I know you've given a lot of information. So yeah, I just want to recap. So the product you're making, it's a medicine and it's not FDA approved, right?
It's not a medicine, and it is a biotech company, Sailor, and I decided to partner with the company. So yes, I do have a LLC, Enlightened Wellness Generation, and that's just my brand. But yes, ASEA is a company itself, and people could decide to, if they want to sharing this with other people, then they could partner with the company. So you can think us as a company's marketing arms.
So basically it's a supplement in the form of liquid that people take, and then it rejuvenates the cells and restores their cells back to normal. That's what it is.
Yes, when you are replenishing, yes, there's a liquid version of the products and the topical version. And yes, the liquid, when you drink it, then you just think about you're turning your cell phone bar from 0 or 1 back to full bar. So your cell phone is fully function. So the same idea for replenishing redox molecules is that you are enhancing your cell signaling. So when your cells are signal, right? Imagine that everybody's talking, because normally how your body works is it all started with one damaged cell. And when there's a damaged cell in the body, normally a good cell, the good cells around it are sending signals to the immune system, say, hey, there's a bad guy, or here's a fire, come and put it off. But when your cell phone bar is not working, cell phone bar is at 0, nobody's hearing nothing, right? So the immune system is now hearing the message, and this bad cell, instead of getting repaired or getting rid of, it started duplicating instead. And then later on, people say, oh my God, I have these and that, and they all started with a damaged cell in the beginning, or a few damaged cells. And so that's why when your cells or your whole body are talking to each other, they really knows what to do. They really know how to take care of you to make you healthy. That's how a healthy body is supposed to be running. And that's happening literally, when we were younger, when we were children. Even you had tons of energy, you jump up all the time, and they bump into something, think about 5 years old, and then they heal the next day. And they never, they can play all day. They never come back, wake up the second day, say, oh my God, I have a sore back or I have a pain muscle. That's when your body had trillions of redox molecules and is functioning at the optimal level. That was the picture. And but our body, I guess it's a natural aging process or whatever we call it. When we started naturally losing them around puberty, 1% every year, that's where the cellular breaking down is happening on a day-to-day basis. And because of the environmental toxicity and also the oxidative stress we experience in daily life, right? Modern lifestyle, then it's happening even faster. So we can see people are aging faster and getting sick more easily.
So your product can even reduce stress and help people live a life in balance.
Absolutely. It's going to balance everything in your body.
I hope to take it at some point. Now, when should I be able to get it at pharmacies?
It is not a drug, so it's not going to be in pharmacy. I wouldn't say that. And originally, the founder, right, as a businessman, his name is Verdes Norton, and he was the head strategist for Kraft's Food. And so he's a business genius. That's a Fortune 50 company. And he was compared to Steve Jobs. That's why this group of scientists found him to help them stabilize or, having claimed the patent or stabilizing the redox molecules, because that's the hardest point. It's a big thing later when it's stabilized was because it's our body's natural function. And a lot of scientists try to stabilize them outside the human body, but wouldn't be able to do that. But long story short, and Verdes had a patent and just wanted to commercialize in the beginning as a businessman. And of course, he took it to pharmas, thought they're going to make it alternative medicine, functional medicine, or whatever. But the pharmas all decided to shut it down and offering huge checks.
Wow.
This is our company's story. So he said, well, I had about 40 of my church friends and family members, because this has no toxicity. They started the products as my focus group. And 6 to 7 of them were in the hospice, but their health were really looking up, turning around because of this. He said, well, I cannot kind of just look into their eyes and say, hey, I'm taking this huge check. You cannot have this anymore. So Verdes turned down the check because he said, yeah, I think the world deserves to know about it. And I'm 70, I wanted at 60, I'd have 70 years old. He's 80 this year. He said, I want to leave a legacy.
Wow.
So he turned down the check and said, well, okay, no pharma, maybe not this way. Then I guess I have to start a company, make your products so the world has access to the technology. So that's a decision he made. And that's why, even though, yes, it is a product, but scientific or science-wise, technology-wise, it's truly a medical breakthrough.
It's a medical breakthrough. So to make sure I understand, since this is a natural product, if my listeners want to order it, they contact you to order it, right?
Yes, absolutely. People can see me as a consultant.
Awesome.
I'm going to answer their questions and share related testimonials, or if they want to look at study, then I'm happy to help. And yes, people could get in touch with me through my email, and my email is ASUN, like a sun. ASUN, ASEA, like a sea, but it's actually a sea, the spelling of a sea company. So ASUN, ASEA @gmail.com. That's my email. So yes, please reach out if you have any questions.
And what's a good website? for my viewers as
Yes,
well?
my website is ANQI. That's actually my Chinese name, Anqi, ANQI dot myasea, so MYASEA live, LIVE.com.
Wow, wow. I guess I'll have to put it in the description in the podcast so people can find it. But yeah, you have a very, very remarkable story. And so I guess if you don't have anything else to share, let's recap and get to questions. Tyler, I know you have a lot of questions, I'm sure. So I want to start with you first. Go ahead.
Yeah. Even though you take this product, it doesn't replace diet, exercise, all that good stuff. You still need to live a healthy life. You still need to exercise. Just like medicine does, just like medicine in general doesn't replace anything. It's just a supplement. It just supplements it.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad you're pointing that out, Tyler. It's also my brand is always promoting, preventive, or I would say proactive approach to look into health. And I have to be honest, there's no quick fix for your health.
No.
I would argue.
Okay.
I would argue that
Mhm.
beyond even just this product, even those who don't take it, like your product necessarily, they can still get a similar benefit from diet, exercise. In fact, here lately, I've been doing just that, been trying to eat more like capsaicin products, like jalapenos, things of that sort. And I've noticed that I've been exercising and stuff. I've noticed my energy level is like sky high. And it used to not be as good. It used to be kind of sluggish because I was pre-diabetic. But now it seems like my pre-diabetes has kind of went into remission, which is really good.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like a new man again.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. It's the foundation. Your good sleep, right? Eating the good food and drinking water. And yes, when our body don't go through that stress, you might don't realize, okay, I think I'm good. I'm doing enough. And that's exactly how we felt before, me and my parents. And I guess, but the cellular breaking down is happening every second. So yes, it cannot replace any nutrition. It is not a nutritional product, and they are the signaling molecules just allow your cells communicating smoothly. And if people don't replenish, that's fine. But when they do, even just for preventive or proactive perspective, and they could find their cellular breaking down slower, and outer appearance will be, they might feel even more energy, and they found their nutrition being absorbed better, and they're preventing their body breakdown even further to have any other problems in the future. But yes, and of course, that's people's choice. If you feel, okay, I'm doing fine, that's absolutely fine.
Of course.
Yes. And I learned the analogy of, did I share the house analogy? I did.
I think you did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was on another show just earlier, so don't want to repeat myself here. But yes, I used to think the same way. And again, I had only skin challenge, and that's my body's warning, say, hey, too much toxin in your body, and you need to take care of it. And I thought, without looking into the complete picture, I say, yeah, I need to take care of my skin, or maybe need to detox. But when after we receiving the results, and also in the process of making a business decision, I realized, okay, I passed my puberty already, and also I also need it, because it's when the complete picture is the labors are building your house, and you can give your body a lot of nutrition and doing other things, but sometimes they don't get absorbed properly, or when you could have a more cellular breakdown, maybe when you have a more stress later on, right, in life, it could happen. So it's just a nice way and foundational, to be honest, to guarantee your cells still functioning properly and communicating properly to prevent anything happen in the future, I guess, for healthy people like us.
All right. So
Wow.
if anyone wants to order via phone, is there a phone number that they could call also? Let's say they don't have a website and or whatever, or let's just say, I don't know, they're not really keen on the internet as much as some people are. I don't know.
Yes, they can definitely call me.
Okay.
And but I prefer people can reach out through email first.
Sure.
If that's
Okay.
okay.
Cool.
Yes, and then we could figure out time to get on the phone, because that's how communication could happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
exactly.
mean, well, your story is really inspiring, and we really
It is.
appreciate you coming. We really
It's
appreciate
very
you coming on the podcast.
It is, because that's what this podcast is all about, sharing stories of life's challenges and how you've overcome adversity. And I could say without a doubt, you and your family have done just that. Actually, beyond that, I mean, just think of it. Y'all came here from China during the 2008 recession with nothing and rebuilt everything all over again. I mean, there's no other choice but to go forward and up in
Exactly.
life.
You
when
know,
you hit rock bottom, all you can go is up. And you see, that's what myself and Tyler are doing.
Right. And not only that, it proves that we live in the greatest country in the world. There's nothing
Yes,
like
we do.
America. There just isn't.
I mean,
It
no,
just isn't.
America may not be perfect right now, but we're still the greatest country. And I mean, you've done just that, and you have to only go up. You have to learn to take risks and just
That's right.
get out there, because you only got one life to live. Because you see, as for myself and Tyler, I mean, we have challenges of our own. You know, we're blind, we can't see, and the unemployment rate amongst the blind people is just so high. And you see, if we can't become employed ourselves, you know, we have to start our own deal. And
That's right.
this podcast is all about, we're turning this into a business, and we're becoming entrepreneurs ourselves. And that's why we're so happy to be a part of Parkpalooza Speakers
right.
Playhouse. And Tyler, we literally have an army behind us.
Yes, we do. And let me tell you, the American dream, this is what it's all about. You can come to America and you can have a dream and achieve it. And it just shows, or just proves, that in America anything's possible, and you can go from nothing to having everything. It's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yes.
Just amazing.
Yes. And
the fact that we have so much freedom, it's amazing. And it's a blessing.
And Angelina, so obviously all the stress that you and your mom and dad went through coming here, losing everything, I know that can cause, you know, brain fatigue, even physical damage such as hives, swelling, and whatnot. And I know your dad went through it, your mom went through it, and you know, for you as a daughter to change that, it's just so inspiring.
Yes.
Thank you.
And and so you went to school here once you arrived here, right?
Yes, I went to architecture school here.
Wow.
That's just inspiring. It's amazing that you can go from nothing to everything.
Yes.
It's like there's no other place like it in the world. Even in China, I mean, yes, they outlive us. I do agree, like the Asians do, because they live healthier. But as far as the freedom aspect, there's just not a lot of freedom elsewhere other than in America. And of course, Canada, that's part of America too.
Because you see, China, like I do feel for y'all. I mean, I'm sure, y'all are a beautiful country. It's a great country, but the government is not so good. And
no,
I feel sorry for what y'all are having to deal with. And you see, here in the U.S., they're trying to make our government like China, but I know that's not going to happen.
Nope, because the people are going to stand up against it.
Yeah.
And we're going to prevail.
Yeah, we will always prevail. Yeah. And we should have our own destiny, do what we want, in limited government, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Let government just be limited in what it can do, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
We can do anything.
So,
There you go. Anyway,
so yeah, Angelina, as you as the guest, anything else you want to share, or should
yes, ma'am.
we wrap up? And when we wrap up, the the theme I always like to wrap up with is, what message do you have for people that are struggling out there and that can provide them hope? So, of course, if you have anything else to share, go ahead and share it. But if not, if you'd say let's wrap up and let's do it. So it's all yours.
Yeah, I really want to thank Sailor and Tyler and the audience spending the time with me here today. And I also want to send my respect to both of you. And I had a conversation with Sailor about blind people, and people don't understand. They see more light inside. And I respect you too, with what you could do, what you made out of your life. And so yeah, I just really glad to be connected here. And I think we all need to honor the struggle, because hard things actually make us grow. Yes, when I share my stories, and people always say, oh my God, how did your family do it? Those kind of stuff. Yes, because I love here, in the US, like you both were sharing. It's your page basically performance based. That's what I love. So if talking about performance, let's go. But anyhow, and also I really do appreciate the experiences I have, because I grew the most during this 10 years, rebuilding our lives here. So I appreciate the struggles in our life. And sometimes we need to recognize life is happening
Yes.
for us, but not to us. And these are all the lessons make us stronger and better. It's all about how we look at those things, the meaning we take from them, and how can you make your lesson to make you grow further and be a better person. And of course, in the entire picture, only after while losing them, almost lost them, our health. And then I started really appreciate how important health, or how foundational it's the piece in our life. Only when we have health, and we can talk about dreams, we can talk about career, or even relationship, all those things. So because our experiences, and I started my business and grow, helping other people in a more direct way. So yes, my mission, I guess, now getting the cheesy part, but I really see this as my mission, is to making the world looking into health with more proactive, holistic approach. Our body are designed to be healthy, and we should really take care of it, and always have a great quality of life. That's what we deserve. I guess that's what I want to share. So thank you so much, everybody.
You bet.
You are welcome.
One last question. Your product, can it help older people like in their 90s who have late stage dementia and who are in the process of dying? Because I want to take a moment to remember someone very special here on the show. As you know, Angelina, we were supposed to do this last week, but I had to postpone it because my grandfather passed away on Thursday, 102 years old. Remarkable man. He was born in 1920, grew up during the Great Depression, worked hard, and went to school at Allegheny College in Pennsylvania, graduated in 1946, but he also served our country in the Navy and in World War II, and even went to fly for Pan American Airlines around the world. And after that, he started his own pipe and steel business, and he did business with many countries around the world, was very successful.
Amazing.
But he did live a remarkable life. And so had we known about this product before, do you think it could have helped him and maybe he could still continue living now?
it's different for everybody, and I'm sorry to hear that, Sailor. And I mentioned in our communication during the text, I believe he's a happy man because the family were there, because you guys love and the company, and he must really left in peace and
Yes.
the love. But yes, and I'm just trying to be compliant here. That's why I didn't mention disease name, but that's actually what my dad had.
Yeah.
And yes, for those cognitive function problem, it's literally, I think, either number 1 or number 2. A few years ago, I read cost factor for elderly death in
Yeah.
United States or in the world. So don't call me here, and don't have the article with me here, but yes, cognitive issue. And that's why it's completing the picture for those brain disorders. In Western medical science, they will say, okay, it's not curable by our drugs. It's because there's a blood-brain barrier to stop the toxin to get into your brain, to protect you. That's just natural. And that's why for example, depression, autism, and dementia, Alzheimer, those kind of brain disorders, the medicine will be stopped at this blood-brain barrier. So you can never pass this barrier in the first place to actually work on your brain cells. But redox molecules, how ASEA could help. Again,
Wow.
no medical disclaimer here, please. is it could go past the blood-brain barrier, because it's our body's natural mechanism, is your own element. So the blood-brain barrier will not stop it. It's not a toxin, and they're tiny enough they could go past the blood-brain barrier to actually work with your brain cells and repair them or do whatever they needed to do. That's how it could help with brain disorders in that sense. So yes, across the board, for 13 years at this point, we have countless stories and examples of how this helped people
Wow.
with brain disorders in any age.
Yeah, because honestly, my grandfather, Papa Jack, up until right before he turned 96, he was up and going, walking, driving, even still playing some golf, just in circles everywhere. And in 2016, May 2016, everything changed because he had a stroke, and mainly his right side was affected. And what they did was they went in and replaced the aortic valve in his heart. And I'm not gonna lie, even 6 years ago, we thought there were a few times that we thought it was going to be the end. He was not doing well. We thought he was going to pass even in 2016, but by the grace of God, he was saved. He was still allowed to be with us as long as he did and make more memories with us. It was just wonderful. And I mean, he didn't show signs of dementia until like late 2019 or so. And so yeah, by the grace of God, we still able to enjoy him. He was still able to enjoy us. And I mean, it's sad that he's no longer here, but we all know it was time, and we know that he's in a better place. And although he's gone from our sight, he will never be gone from our memory and our
That's
hearts.
right.
And
That's right.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes. So yeah, shout out to Papa Jack.
Yes.
The show. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and shout out to Angelina Sun.
yeah, for
Thank you.
for changing the
You too.
world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And making lives better. So yeah, Angelina, if you have nothing else, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
You're welcome.
Everybody give it up for Angelina Sun on episode 5 of Hope Without Sight. Until then, see you next time. We hope you feel renewed, inspired, and encouraged, like you can just carry on and conquer the world.
Please hit the subscribe button on all platforms and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Blessings to all.